Hollywood stars like Gloria Swanson and Douglas Fairbanks. But meanwhile, we witnessed the first foray into film sponsorship. Here, the Liverpool Gas Company discovers the power of the talkie.
This problem of the slums is common to most of our large towns. And because disease and misery breed where such conditions exist, a nationwide campaign has been entered upon. It is not sufficient for our workers to enjoy modern hygienic conditions at their places of employment. It is difficult to imagine the conditions under which many are living, but such houses as these are being demolished daily. The passing of the first Post-War Housing Act, Liverpool renewed its warfare against bad housing conditions. This has continued incessantly, and today, not only are new estates being developed on the outskirts of the city, some a mile square, but replanning and redevelopment of areas 40, 60, 90 acres in extent is being carried out. The slums are gradually disappearing, giving way to new development in and around the city.
This was the future. These brand new flats provided all the mod cons. You could pose to your heart's content in the sumptuous drying room, gas-powered of course, whilst your kids were safe from harm in the purpose-built playground. The truth is, we were only just beginning to understand how film camera worked. The gas company's efforts will unquestionably have been celebrated for its slickness and professionalism, whilst at the same time, rich enthusiasts were trying their hand at the same skills. By today's standards, the end product is very poor, with a terribly wobbly picture, but the instruments were extremely crude, and the true result is a remarkable record of life during that period. It was the Great Depression, but still fun was to be had at the Derby bathing pool. The girls' American-style beach suits, in many gay colours, were just under 1 and 6. Eiffel Tower lemon barley was 8.5 pence a bottle. Kellogg's cornflakes were celebrating their 30th birthday at 5.5 pence a box. The adverts encourage you only to buy Swedish butter. This lad's costume may look a touch strange, but his haircut is now the height of fashion. Our sporting hero of the day was Fred Perry, and Slazenger were offering a racket, balls and net for 10 and 6. Golf clubs were 8 and 11 each, and you could drown your sorrows in either Brent's King Hal Pale Ale for 5 pence a bottle, or Walker's Warrington Ale with the slogan, "There's a Walker's house on the way." A modern 4-bedroomed house on Devonshire Road, Birkenhead, was £650, whilst you could pick up an Enfield 250 motorbike at Motor Miles Limited, Bold Street, for £27, 10 shillings. One of the most prominent advertisers at the time was Aspro, who claimed that their tablets could get rid of flu, sleeplessness, sciatica, gout, colds, lumbago, hay fever, pain peculiar to women and asthma, and all for 3 pence. Or better still, blow away the cobwebs with a day at the seaside. If there's one thing that Merseysiders have proved they love, it's the chance to dress up and join in with a parade, especially the kids. Hours of dedicated rehearsal went into patriotic performance at this local carnival, with special accompaniment from the piano and gramophone. The dancing seems to represent several nationalities. The little girls in their Welsh hats have a routine all of their own. Merseyside should be proud of its love for animals. After all, the RSPCA started out here way back in 1809. As a result, it became a tradition to feature fine and healthy animals in the May Day parade. Cart owners from all over would decorate their horses as a celebration to the first day of summer. The May Day parade finished during the war years, although a revival was attempted in the 80s. The Lord Mayor's horse-drawn coach takes him to a children's hospital in Myrtle Street. The people of Merseyside were shocked to hear the news of a rare tram accident. Skidding on slippery tracks, the tram had been unable to brake on a sharp corner between Crown Street and Paddington and had turned over. Although an efficient and safe form of transport, the tram's days were numbered, as were the steam engines. No British rail locomotive this, strictly London Midland Scottish, number 5608, seen heading out of Lime Street Station. And staying with transport, on the 1st of July 1933, Merseysiders flocked to see Lord Londonderry, the Secretary of Air, officially open Speke Airport. Some of the many attractions were Demon Fighters, a Hawker Fury, the Cloud of Iona amphibian, parachutists, the experimental Fairy monoplane, which had flown 5,000 miles non-stop that year, the Sierra Autogyro, and 9 Hawker Hunters who'd put on a daring display, including having 3 of the planes tied together. Whilst the airport was taking off, work underground was quickly moving towards completion on the Mersey Tunnel. The idea of a tunnel had originally been put to Brunel more than 100 years earlier, but never followed through. In 1913, the idea of a bridge over the Mersey was suggested. It would be 90 feet wide and 3,500 yards long. But it wasn't pursued because of air raid vulnerability, as this rather quaint cartoon shows. It was decided that a double-deck tunnel would be millions of pounds cheaper, cater for fast and slow traffic, and offer air raid shelter for thousands. The finished article would be as big as the side of this house. 2 exploratory tunnels, each the size of a London tube, were cut from one side to the other to test the depth of the riverbed and to assist with moving soil and stone as the tunnel progressed. Liverpool's Lady Lord Mayor, Margaret Bevan, helped knock through the final few inches of the tunnel to shake hands with the Mayor of Birkenhead. Huge curved iron segments, each weighing over a ton, were carefully positioned as the tunnel progressed in sections. A roadway suspended from the roof of the top section made moving soil from the lower section so much easier. At its lowest point, the tunnel is 150 feet below the river, withholding a pressure of 5 tons per square foot. On dry land, where buildings were of little value, they were knocked down, a hole was dug underneath them for the tunnel, and once completed, the hole was filled in again. Once the shell of the tunnel was in place, 2 walls were constructed to support the roadway. Everything was then concreted in, covered with bitumen, and black glass panels to help reflect light. These huge buildings housed the ventilation fans which provided fresh air for the whole tunnel. The central control room was built at St George's Dock, monitoring the important functions of the tunnel. The tunnel was officially opened by King George V in 1934. Costing £7 million to build, and with its branches stretching more than 2.5 miles, the tunnel was designed to handle up to 4,000 cars an hour. Each traveller was presented with an enormous number of rules and regulations when using the tunnel. Some of the more bizarre being no going under 6 miles per hour, no coasting, keep 75 feet from the vehicle in front, no horns, and make sure you have enough petrol to get you to the other side. It cost 1 shilling for cars not exceeding 8 horsepower, 1 6 for cars not exceeding 12 horsepower, 6 pence for a motorbike, or 9 if it had a sidecar, and 2 6 for a 4-ton goods vehicle. Engineering greatness wasn't only confined to the splendid work on the tunnel. Elsewhere too, technical advances were galloping ahead. Various dignitaries and railway company bosses turned out to witness the transformation of the Wirral line to New Brighton and West Kirby into the new age. One by one, railway companies were saying goodbye to what is now referred to as the golden age of steam and welcoming the arrival of diesel or electric trains. This was to be the last steam train to run on the Wirral line, replaced by the brand new, silent-running, cleaner and much cheaper electric trains. From the smoke-bellowing, coal-shovelling, dirty days of steam,